Hi there, and welcome to Blame It on the Inverts. I'm Sean. By now, you've probably realized I love spending a day at Knott's Berry Farm. Well, something else that I love doing is cooking. And when I discovered Knott sells Boysenberry bottled items, I couldn't grab some fast enough to bring home with me. Now, I started with the Boysenberry barbecue sauce, using it as a marinade for chicken and pork chops. But then I got a little braver and started incorporating it into some of my favorite recipes. In this new series, I'll be sharing some of those recipes with you and showing you how to make them, and even trying some new ones for myself. Welcome to Boys and Berries in the Kitchen. Now for this first recipe, I'm going to be making a turkey pot pie, but with home-style biscuits on top instead of a crust topping. Let's get started. Tonight's recipe is for 4 servings, but if you have a different party size, you can adjust accordingly. Now, getting into the ingredients, you'll need 2 pounds of ground turkey, chopped up vegetables. I'm using carrots and celery tonight, and pot pie also calls for onions. Unfortunately, I am not an onion fan, so you're probably never going to find onions on this channel. Moving on. 4 tablespoons of flour, 1 teaspoon of dried thyme, 4 tablespoons of cream cheese, home-style biscuits, chicken stock, and it's in the fridge, but you'll also need 5 tablespoons of butter. Okay, oh, I almost forgot. 2 garlic cloves, minced. Okay, I think we're ready to dive in. Let's go. Now once everything is prepped, the very first step is to cook the meat. Now, instead of an olive oil, I use avocado oil. It's just a preference of mine, but of course, you want to use an oil to help grease up the pan. So we're gonna get this nice and coated, and you'll want to use a medium-high heat on your stove top. Okay, let's get this turkey on. And of course, you want to use plenty of salt and pepper. All right. And now that we've got the salt and pepper in, you want to break that ground turkey up and cook it until it's nice and brown. Now you don't have to fully cook all of the turkey in this step because you are going to cook it more later on in the recipe, but you do want to get it nice and brown so that it looks almost fully cooked through. I'm going to add a little more oil and a little more salt and pepper now that I have broken the meat up and everything is starting to cook a little bit. Okay, we are getting there. The turkey looks like it is almost fully browned, probably 3 to 5 minutes. One thing that I did not mention, and it's because my oven doesn't take too long to preheat to get to the temperature that I need it to get. But you are going to put this dish into the oven after you are done cooking with it at some point. So if you do have an oven that takes a little bit longer to preheat, you're going to need to set it at 425 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you're using a pan that cannot go into the oven, you're also going to need a second dish. This pan that I'm using is not able to go into the oven, and you may or may not have noticed it, but I have mine sitting right over here to the right of my oven. So Once everything is done and the dish is finished, I'll be putting that into the stove. Now the turkey is getting there. I do like to cook it a little bit more because I can see that there's still a good amount of juice sitting at the bottom of the pan. Now normally, depending on how lean of turkey I am cooking with, sometimes the juice will just cook itself away. But if you end up with too much juice, of course you want to drain that in this next step once you're done. I had a little bit more juice than I usually do, so I just finished draining it, but we're almost done with the turkey. Before you place this to the side, here we're going to add our first boysenberry ingredient. So this is the boysenberry barbecue sauce that I mentioned earlier. And so what I do is I take this, and I've already opened it, so I gotta shake it, it's refrigerated. And what I do is I put just enough to coat the turkey so that every single piece looks like it is coated, but not so that it is so much. So I usually just like do a nice little spiral, and then I stir it in while I'm cooking. I usually have to add 1 or 2 more little dabs, just depending. So let's see what it looks like once it's all covered. Oh, I love when I put this on the turkey and it just starts cooking right away. It brings out not only the barbecue scent, but also the boysenberry. It's just, oh, I love it. I can already tell though, I'm definitely gonna need some more sauce. So let me go ahead and just at least evenly spread this out. But yeah, absolutely need more sauce. So let's go ahead and add some more now. Okay, let's see what that does. I tell you, when you start cooking with this stuff, your kitchen is gonna smell amazing. Perfect. All right, so now that the turkey is coated with the boysenberry barbecue sauce, we're gonna remove this from the pan and put this in a paper towel lined plate. All right, so you wanna scoop all of the turkey bits out of there. You are gonna wipe down the pan once you're done. I actually rinse mine out just because of the boysenberry barbecue sauce. It is going to eventually mix, but we don't want to mix it quite yet. And here is what your turkey should look like once it's all done. All right, moving on to the vegetables. But first, like I said, let's rinse out this pan. And after a quick rinse out of my pan, I'm ready to start the vegetable mixture. So grab some more avocado oil or olive oil, whichever you prefer. And I use plenty because I throw all of the vegetables in at the same time. Depending on which recipe you're using, you might put the carrots in a little bit longer than the celery just to soften them up a little more, but I throw them all in at the same time. Okay, that oil's nice and heated, so let's throw in our vegetables. Excellent. Lots of carrots and celery. And then, of course, some more salt and pepper. Let's get these nice and mixed up. Now these vegetables, you're gonna cook for about 7 to 8 minutes. And if you notice that they start to get brown pretty quickly, just turn down your heat a little bit. My very first time to the Boysenberry Festival, I actually went to buy some of the barbecue sauce and they told me they were sold out. But the girl gave me a little extra information that I didn't ask for. And she laughed and said they sell out every year during the Boysenberry Festival, even though they sell these sauces year-round. That's absolutely the case. And you don't even have to visit the park to be able to get some. They sell them in their online marketplace as well, if you'd like to get them shipped to your home. Well, these vegetables look like they're about done. So the next step is to add the thyme and the garlic. Now, you don't want to cook these for too long once you've added those two items, because the garlic can burn pretty easily. So I usually will add on the thyme first, so let's go ahead and do that. Just sprinkle that on over the veggies, and then we'll do the garlic. And the longest I usually like to cook once I have everything on is about 30 seconds. You don't want the garlic to burn, and it can burn fairly easily. Although with the veggies and the oil, hopefully it shouldn't burn too much. But so let's go ahead and cook that nice and quick. I always like to keep an eye on the garlic pieces as well, especially since they're minced, because if you notice them starting to get a little brown quickly, you can turn the heat off. But I think we are good to go, and I think we're at about 30 seconds, so I am going to go ahead and turn the heat off now at this point. And we're going to keep putting our mixture together. But I need butter for the next step, so I will be right back. And now that I have the butter out, the next step is to put the 4 tablespoons into the vegetable mixture and melt it together. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. Now, I still need a little bit of butter, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave this out for now. Now, once all the butter is melted, you're gonna add the flour. So let's go ahead and turn the fire back on. And while the butter is melting, I like to stir all the vegetables together just to kind of cover them and make sure it gets evenly dispersed. Okay, now that the butter is all melted, you'll add the flour in. And once that's in, just stir it all together, make sure it's evenly coated. All right, now that we have this mixture together, it's time for the chicken stock. Now we're gonna need 1 3/4 cups. Now I have the chicken stock here. All right, is that perfect? All right, so we will add in the stock, and then once that's added in, you're gonna add a little bit more salt and pepper as well. Of course, you don't have to add the salt and pepper. You can season it to your liking, but that's what I do. So once you have all that poured in, stir it, mix it nice and evenly. Perfect. So once everything is stirred in together, you're actually going to want to let it boil. Bring it to a boil and let it boil for about 3 to 5 minutes. You want the sauce to thicken to make that nice texture for the pot pie filling. Perfect. I can already see it starting to thicken, and that's great. Now while the mixture is thickening, you do want to stir it occasionally. Oh, that looks great. All right, that is almost done, so I'm gonna grab the cream cheese out of the fridge. And the second boysenberry ingredient, boysenberry butter. Now, while I'm waiting for this to finish, the very first time I tried this, I was a little, not nervous, but I guess skeptical, only because I wasn't quite sure how the smokiness flavor of like the boysenberry barbecue sauce and the sweetness of the boysenberry butter, I wasn't sure if they would like contrast with each other or if they actually would like, you know, go well. So I was very pleasantly surprised, and this turned out to be one of my favorite dishes. All right. So this mixture looks like it's good to go. So now all we need to do is add the cream cheese and then a little bit of boysenberry butter. Now the cream cheese, like I said, it was 4 tablespoons. The boysenberry butter, I don't have an exact measurement for it. I usually just kind of gauge it based on the color. But I usually use a couple of spoonfuls. All right, well, let's get this mixture added together. Okay, I have the 4 tablespoons of cream cheese in the mixture, and I'm going to take my 2 dollops of boysenberry butter and throw it in. Now they don't need to be big dollops. Like I'm literally this is one, like it's very small. So 1, and let me get this second spoonful in. All right, and now I don't put it away quite yet, just in case I need any more. But let's see what it looks like once it's all mixed together. It is so fun cooking with this boysenberry butter because when you use it and you're using it with foods that, you know, don't normally come in like a purplish tint, it's really fun to watch it mix in with the mixture. It kind of makes its way throughout the entire thing and you can see the purple taking over ever so slowly, and it's just so much fun. Well, I still see a little bit of regular color, so I want a little bit more of the boysenberry butter. So I'm just going to take one more small little scoop, but I think that should be enough. Perfect. Okay, let's get that mixed in. But I think we are almost there. Now, while this is finishing, I'm going to use this opportunity to go ahead and turn my oven on as well, because I am ready for the turkey to get added back in almost. But then once that's together and everything is mixed up, it's time to top it with the biscuits and then throw it in the oven. All right, I think we got it. Okay. Perfect. And now if you didn't get all of the boysenberry mixed in this first step, obviously that's okay because we're gonna mix in the turkey in just a second. So let's go ahead and get this boysenberry butter back in the fridge. All right, perfect. So let's go ahead and put the turkey back into the mixture with the vegetables now. Excellent, perfect. Awesome. Now you want to coat it evenly, make sure all that the turkey and the vegetables and everything, that it all is mixed together. Oh, it smells so good. Okay, I think our mixture is good to go. So I'm going to grab my oven-safe dish and let's throw this in there. Now once it's in your oven-safe dish, just evenly spread it out so that it's in one nice flat and smooth layer. I can't stop thinking about how good it smells. All right, so while the oven is preheating to that 425 degrees Fahrenheit, there's one more step. Now I mentioned earlier you'll need 5 tablespoons of butter, but we've only used 4, so this is where you need that last one. What you'll want to do is get a microwave-safe small little bowl or dish. This is the one that I use. And you just take 1 tablespoon of butter. And you're going to put it in the microwave for 30 seconds just so you can melt it. Now this butter you're melting is for the topping of the biscuits once you get those on top of the mixture for the pot pie. Excellent. So we're gonna let that cool a little bit while we top our mixture. These things. We're just gonna go. I hate them. But they taste so good. All right, and so I actually break them in half when I cover them. So just evenly spread them out like this. Well, look at that timing. All right, so now all we have to do is put a little bit of butter on each of these biscuits and pop it in the oven. So I use a little spoon to do this, and I literally just like kind of dab it all over the biscuits, and then I kind of just spread it out over each one, just make sure it has a nice butter coating. So let's just take care of that. All right, excellent. So everything is ready to go. And then once it's done, let it sit and we are good to go. So here we are. Well, it's about time to take everything out. And just in time, those biscuits look like they were about to burn. And you can see everything is super bubbly as well. So definitely let it cool for a few minutes and then we'll enjoy. And this is what it looks like once it's all done. All right, well, it has cooled for a few minutes, but it's still gonna be a little hot. But I'm gonna go ahead and take my first bite. Let's see how this turned out. Ooh, it's definitely steaming. I don't know if there's really like an accurate way for me to describe just how amazing that contrast of the smoky barbecue and the sweet boysenberry butter together. And it's literally just as if you use just enough, and it's not too much that it's like one side is overpowering the other, but just enough to coat each one to give it that boysenberry tint. This is incredible, and I make it quite often. If you do decide to give it a try, let me know how you like it in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me for the very first installment of Boys and Berries in the Kitchen. Make sure to hit that subscribe button because I've got plenty more boysenberry recipes coming your way. Well, I gotta eat the rest of this before it gets too cool. Thanks again for watching.